Hey guys, welcome back to the live stream. It's been just a minute, but I wanted to give you an update on what I've been working on in the shop. And today what we're going to be doing is going through Lone Star Update. And we're going to use the van cam inside to show you kind of where we're at with this build. Made a couple changes just because the layout of where the shower is positioned and the fridge stack is getting really tight to the driver's seat. And so I'm just going to walk you through what kind of got changed, moved, things got relocated, and we're now back on track as far as the plan on this van. So yeah, I just want to take the opportunity to go inside the van and show you what I've been working on. So here is, before I hop in the van, let's show you what is going on. So if you looked at John and Susan's van, they had a fridge stack and it looked similar to this one. This one's different because the top is going to be open. So this is where we're going to have coffee makers stored, the Starlink router, as well as the Starlink power supply is going to be located up there as well, so it can be removed easily if they want to take it out. We get the Isotherm Cruise 130 fridge right there on the left. And as we come on down, we've relocated the battery position and the inverter charger itself. And so I'll go over that and kind of what the plan is for that. And the fuse panel. So in the very left, bottom left corner, you can see that is the fuse panel. It is from the EcoFlow unit. So the EcoFlow unit is a 48 volt battery system essentially, and underneath the fridge we have two 5,000 kilowatt hour batteries, so a total of 10,000 kilowatt hours, which is pretty impressive for an all-in-one system. And then on the left side, like I was saying, we've got the fuse panel, so that's going to have your breakers for your 110 volt as well as your 12 volt. So the unit does take 48, converts it down to 12, so you can hook up lights, LEDs, stuff like that. Now, in previous live stream, we've already pre-wired the whole entire van, so now we're simply just facing everything, getting it finished, framed out. But if we're looking at this picture, originally I had, actually I'll step in the van and I can show you this. Well, I need to move the camera. So if we go to the right-hand side, we see the driver's seat. All right, let me grab some stuff in the van real quick. All right, now we can see everything. So we got the driver's seat swiveled around. So we'll come across and come down. So this is in its rotated position. So originally I wanted to have the Tetra van folding shower. I wanted to have it right up against the wall, but that didn't work because the structure underneath the van, I couldn't get it butted up against the wall because I was not going to be able to connect the outlet to the drain for the shower. It was just too close to the chassis of the van, so they had to come out about 3.5 inches, which kind of brings it into where the seat is. And not only that, but when I folded it down and was standing in it and kind of acting like the shower was there, it felt a little cramped on the left-hand side. So what I did was, something that's pretty nice right now, I have someone working with me, helping me build these vans. This year, believe it or not, I've already got the whole entire year booked until the end of December. So now it's not a matter of dates, it's just getting the vans knocked out, which is really exciting. So that's never happened. This is the first year we got everything booked out, so really excited about that. Back to the vans, this Tetra van shower when it comes out, I wanted a little bit more space. So you can see on the left-hand side, instead of having the wall panel come right out on the left-hand side of the Tetra van, and if you guys don't know what Tetra van is, I'm actually going to put the unit in here at the end of the video. So left-hand side, it's opened up to where the fridge stack is, and that's going to give us a lot more room, as well as an area to, above that, mount two things. So we originally had the monitor screen in vertical orientation, and it was closer. So it was closer to the driver's seat. And now I'm actually going to get to the part of the video where I hop back in the van. Let's see if I can get to it. All right, there we go. Okay, let me hop in and it'll make more sense from here on out. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put those questions in the chat. Okay. So my phone's gonna be a little delayed inside the van, but I think I got the framing right. All right, so right here on the left-hand side, this is the top of the Tetra van. And that is a folding shower pan. Again, I'll point that out here later in the video. But something cool that came up is by extending this out, and the reason this got extended out is this unit that was going to be placed near the dinette or underneath on the left side of the batteries, it just wasn't working out size-wise. This unit needs to breathe, it needs to have access, and the original plan was to have this lower down on the floor. Still access, but it might have been a little bit more challenging, so I changed that. We now have more storage area underneath the driver's side dinette in the back. But this unit had to come here. So now that this unit was here, it did not make sense to have this space up here just come forward and just be dead space, because I wanted to open up this area for the shower. So imagine if this section right here was a wall and you're in the shower right here. So if this was a wall, it'd be really, it really felt confined. So by taking this dead space out and moving it all the way back, I'm gonna do something really cool. So I'm actually going to take this area, and I have a piece of 3/4 inch bamboo, and I'm actually going to make a little like a countertop area, so that this countertop area, you know, you can sit stuff on it. I spoke with Jim and Linda on putting in a grab bar for the shower, just for safety, and also, you know, you can hang a towel on this, or you can put clamps on this, you know, whatever you want to do. I found one that didn't look like a commercial grab bar. This looks more like a towel bar. However, it's ADA rated, so it's extremely strong and very safe. And so today we're going to put this bar in. But I wanted to extend this out, and then we're going to put a door down here to have access to this inverter. So two things tonight: grab bar installation. We're going to talk about the 80/20 and how I put that in here to not only secure the grab bar, but tie it into the Tetra van shower for strength, and as well tied into the fridge stack to get the fridge stack bolted into the chassis of the van. When you're building vans, or even if you're doing a DIY, really consider safety. So consider what would happen in the event of an accident. So we never want that to happen, but if it does, think how this unit is going to react in a situation where you slam on the brakes or rear end someone. And so we're going to talk about that before everything gets covered up. Because tonight and tomorrow, this frame will be finished, and then the face frame panels will be being cut. So let's talk about the 80/20. This is a piece of fabric that I haven't cut yet, so we'll just pull this up to get it out of the way. So what I've done is this 80/20 vertically is mounted into the top and bottom of the window frame of the van. So it's a really structural strong point of the van. And the bar in the back is to tie in the fridge stack. And the bar here is to tie in the Tetra van. What was pretty cool is, after we talked about doing the grab bar, that's what I fabricated tonight is I cut this bar. There's another bar that goes right here that we're going to put a riv nut in over here to tie it into this side. And this area has been really challenging build-wise because it's not how it's built or what materials are used, it's the finished look. So I've been back and forth a lot on how the finished look is going to be. Originally, this Tetra van shower was going to be pushed up about 3.5, 4 inches back, and that would have made a clean line from the back of it straight up, and I'd be able to use just the prefabricated panels that we purchased in the kit. Can't do that now, so this is going to have to be a scribed out panel. So just a custom. I was going to wrap it with fabric, and then I thought there's going to be a lot of humidity over here. The top panels are going to be fine. This is plastic. I did extra adhesive when I upholstered that top panel right there. I'm not worried about the ceiling panels, but this panel right here, it's going to need to be a painted panel as opposed to upholstered. So that takes another step of planning, and so what I'm doing there, I figured out what I'm going to do is tonight I'm locating where the grab bar goes, and we'll put some T-slot nuts here. We'll put some T-slot nuts here, and we're going to use these T-slot, I'm kind of on the fence, so that we have locking T-slot nuts and then we have roll-in T-slot nuts. And I'll put the roll-in T-slot nuts in, and then if those don't work as far as locating this bar, because when we have, if you make a wood panel that goes over this, and I'm going to bolt it in, there's going to be 2 hole saw holes cut out for these 2 pieces. And so once those hole saw holes get cut out, the panel will go on, and this will go inset into those holes. And then it'll be bolted directly to the 80/20, be super strong. However, those 2 bolts in here, you need to make sure that they can locate properly inside here. So I think the rolling T-nuts will work. I'll explain that if you've never seen what those are. Yeah, so we're going to mount the bar. There's like a little beauty ring here that comes off. Something I'll be using some bit of adhesive on this because this snaps on, but we don't want it to rattle. So there's 2 ways to fix this. I'll hole saw this out. I may do a bit of felt on the interior part of the wood, and then that will make it to where it doesn't rattle. There's a bunch of holes back here, so we're just going to find 2 of these holes. We're going to rotate it and align it to the 80/20, drilled out to 5/16, and then we'll have our 2 stainless steel nuts with a locking washer that'll install it. The bar's going to go about right here. This is 10 inches. I need to bring it down. And so once that gets in, this will be just like that. And again, nice and clean. You can mount whatever you want to on it. It's going to match the stainless steel of the Tetra van. And that's kind of the plan there. So that's all planned out. The next step, and I'm going to pick this up probably tomorrow afternoon, but we wanted to have another monitor screen over here. And I've been messing with the dimensions, and we got a 32-inch screen in the back. This screen is going to be different. We're going to do a 27-inch screen. And Jim, I found one that has a KVM switch built into it, and that's going to allow Jim to be able to plug all of his peripherals into the monitor if he wants to. So we got two options here. He'll have a Lagoon table with his laptop. We can do one Thunderbolt port into the back of the monitor. It has a USB-C DisplayPort connection. Or if he wants to hook his stuff up into the monitor, he'll be able to do that as well. So it's a Dell monitor that is designed to have a lot of different inputs. This is an RV TV mount, but we got VESA 100 by 100, and that's going to mount the computer monitor. The TV in the back is a smart TV, so it can be used as a computer monitor. It's 4K, and it also has a remote control for like Netflix and stuff like that. So right here we've got 28 inches in height, 14 and a quarter, or 28 and a half inches. So 14 and a quarter is the center line, and then 10, we're going 10 inches over to the center here. So what I'll be doing is I'll add another strip here, and then we'll take the microwave out and then we'll bolt this arm in. So this arm extends a little over a foot, and you can actually tilt this out. So if you loosen these two nuts on the back here, and they actually have, let's see if I can loosen this right here. I got the wrong size. Anyway, so this will tilt down. So if he's in the driver's seat, he can move this, and then he can tilt the monitor down and still have a vertical orientation. And then this guy is just going to lock into place. And so in this van, we have two locking RV mounts for the monitors. Again, this will be a scribed panel that'll just bolt on. So we'll probably do 6 screws here and bolt that on. And then we'll have all of our wiring come through the back. So we'll probably just do power, for example. And then the last part here, we've got, I wonder if I can actually tilt the video down. Let's tilt this down. Okay, so down here we've got this is where our Tetra van is going to go. I've got the Starlink pulled out here, and I've got the Webasto control unit. They don't go here. I'm just feeding this through here so I can finish just doing the cable management. I may film the cable management tonight. I'm gonna work late doing some cable management, pulling this back through. I had it routed one way, and then I need to undo it and go behind this structure. And then I'm gonna come up through here, and we're gonna plug everything. If you decide to get an EcoFlow system, you need to have access to this. When you turn the unit off, they would like you to also, for long-term storage, pull out the solar connections to have the unit be completely dead. Solar is always on, so even though you turn the unit off, it's still powered. So that's just something, if you do long-term storage, that's when you're out of the van for over maybe a month, 2 or 3 months, 6 months, a year. Makes sense. Also make sure your batteries, the orientation allows you to access the power on-off switch on the side of the battery. 9 times out of 10, this unit is going to talk to the batteries when you turn it on. It's going to automatically turn the batteries on. You don't need to touch them, but in the case you need to manually touch them on or push it on, you'll need an access panel to do that. So we'll have an access panel in the front. We'll have an access panel here. We'll just have a solid one down here. And then this is the Tetra van spot. And since we got the camera angle changed, I'm going to go ahead and Let me move these wires. This will also show you how you'll be able to service the Tetra van. If you need to, for some reason, remove it, you need to check on the lines. So right here I have hot and cold water. Each one of these will have a faucet fitting on them. So it's PEX A. We'll have the fitting crimped, and then at the end of it, there'll be a fitting that's going to tie into the Tetra van unit itself. So you'll be able to unbolt, lean the unit out, unhook it from these lines if you needed to, if anything happens to it. So you really need to think ahead in that respect. Also for Tetra van, when you're framing out the bottom here, you're going to need to router out these bottom parts of the wood. There is a stainless bolt that's the hinge for the base, and if you don't do that, it's going to be impossible to slide it in and slide it out. So this is all set. Let's go ahead and get the Tetra van and have it come in. Now this unit's really heavy. It would be good to get somebody to help you, but I've kind of practiced on moving it around. So at the back of this, we've got our hot and cold lines, and then the tie over to the wand over here that you can use to spray. And then what we want to do is just gently bring this in. And we're using Fernco fittings at the base of this. And the Fernco is what's going to allow this to be able to bolt and unbolt from the 20-gallon water tank up below. So once this pops into place, and this one, it's a perfect fitting at the bottom, so you really got to be careful when you put it in. It definitely is a perfect fit. There's going to be a face frame here that we're going to be fabricating, and that's going to allow it to have a trim around it. We're going to paint that white, the same as that we did on the back. So these are just kind of acting as spacers, as you can see. So you'll have a trim piece here, and then you also have a trim piece on this side. And this side trim piece will clean this up so you can't see any of the insulation on the side here. And this whole thing was offset a 1/2 inch so that that panel can go right behind all this. Look really nice and professional. And yeah, so that's how we have this set up. So it's going to keep this spacer in there. So it just leans in like that. So there's the Tetra van, and that is how it is bolted in. We can undo it, let it down, close it back up. So those are the defined locations for all this equipment. So let's catch back up, and I'm gonna move the video back up. We're going to put in these 80/20 pieces. We're gonna tie the fridge stack into the van. We'll drop this behind the Tetra van just to get it safely out of the way. So over here, so what I'm doing is I have a piece of 80/20 and we have a 90 fitting. And I've already started this. I was actually working on this earlier today and really wanted to do a live stream for you guys to kind of catch up on what's been happening. So I've already kind of pre-drilled this. It's gonna be really careful. This piece is extending out here. I'm going to cut that off, probably not tonight, but I will cut that off later. Now what we're using is just a stainless steel bolt and a washer, just like that. And that's going to allow us to, we're actually going to go up from the bottom. But we do want to make sure we put a fender washer on there so we don't cut up through the wood. And then we'll have a lock nut, but we'll also add a lock washer. And so that bolt's coming up through here. And what this does is this is not only securing the fridge stack coming this way, but also that way. And then at the top of this, we've got two angled brackets that are tied into the side of the van as well. And the 5/8/16 nuts typically have a 1/2 inch socket or wrench for the nut that you're tightening. So you want to make sure you don't drop anything, because it's very difficult to get it out at this stage. Now everything is accessible. If you did drop it, it's more annoying than anything else. Yeah, but this has been pretty challenging. It's really the final form. You know, making sure the reveal is right, making sure things are level as possible, square as possible. And what's really nice is I have a part-time, I guess you'd call it a contractor in the shop, and he is definitely helping me out really well. He worked for a van building company out west, and he is back in this area, so he's with me for a couple months to help me with all the builds that have been scheduled this summer and then fall as well. And I'm excited about that. He helped me build this whole entire thing while I was attending to another repair. But yeah, I think it's looking great. Super strong. This whole thing is very much tied into the van. Okay, so we got that bolted in. And then pretty much, yeah, every day, just going through here, vacuuming the van out and cleaning all this dust out. All right, let's begin to work on this over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off with a razor because it is getting in my way. So I'm gonna have to loosen this and change the position. We've got another piece of 80/20 here. And I know that the camera angle is gonna suck, but this is the best I can do right now. I'm actually gonna get this right one in first. I've got a riv nut over here on the right-hand side that I'm using a Ford Transit. It's a hole that Ford already had there. It's about 1 millimeter or 2 bigger than the, I believe it's a 7/16 hole that you want to drill for these. But that's okay. So I got a drill. I'm going to use our rib nut drill adapter with our 5/16-18 rib nut. Rib nut plus nut, a couple different names for this. I'm just going to bring it in right there. Set our clutch to locked. And then we just want to listen and feel for the tightness. If we over tighten it, we'll strip the inner threads, and that will make our rib nut useless. So we don't want to do that. All right, just one rib nut, that's all we're doing. So now we need to get our right angle 80/20 bracket with our 5/16 button head cap screw. I think that's what it is. All right, so we're going to do that. And then this is going to line up in here. And then wherever that lands, we're going to measure it on the right-hand side, and we're going to bring it over to the left. And then where it lands, that is where we're going to get it mounted. So it looks like I need to get another right angle piece. And also, if you guys have any questions or you're new to the channel, feel free to put those in the comments. I have so many questions from you guys in the comments. I am super busy at the moment. So I want to make a dedicated video going over all the questions that you guys have. There's a lot of great questions. I just we'll have to do that probably in August. So I was trying to prep and put a kit together for this video today. And so I'm trying to find my little kit of parts here. All right. So let's talk about parts. We got roll-in T-nuts. So basically what these are is exactly what they sound like. They're a nut that rolls in, and when it's mounted to the bolt, kind of makes like a T shape. And this is what I use for this. So you can see that it slides in. That's the easy way to install it. But the reason they're called roll-in is if you're, say this bar is already mounted and I need to put a T-nut in here, I can literally roll it in place and then put my, you'll see that in just a second. And also good news, yesterday, I guess it was Friday, the front bumper that I ordered a long time ago, probably almost 2 months ago, it finally has arrived. So, and the vans that are on the schedule right after this van, I've also been waiting on the wall panel systems that I get, and they've taken almost 2 months to get delivered. So I'm hoping that means it sounds like this summer is things are going well for DIYers building their vans. And yeah, if I can definitely help you guys with any questions you have, let me know. But if you're looking to build a van or DIY it, go ahead and make decisions on those parts, because I have had to wait right about 4 additional weeks for things that I've ordered. And then when you get them in, you're kind of rushed to get them on. So I do try to calculate buffer time in as best as I can, but even when I do that, it's configuration or how or design-wise, sometimes things change. So one annoying thing about this is you need to actually screw one of these bolts in almost all the way to allow adjustment for the other bolt. So like this one, I had it too far out. There we go. So now it goes back in. So now I can tighten this one down. Yeah, but so notes for you guys. If you're thinking about doing a van build this summer, I would just go ahead and order the parts or whatever you can get on order sooner than later. Okay. So now you guys can see what I'm doing. So again, I'm tying everything into the structure of the van. Start making everything super nice and safe. So these T-nuts I can slide up with my finger to find out where I want to put them. Be very careful, because if they fall, just like this one did, make sure you have a way of catching it and then going down. Like, I might have to actually move this if I had dropped it. So don't try to build in the area where you might be dropping these, because it's be really hard to retrieve them. All right, we're keeping these two loose and we're starting to tighten these up. So now what I need to do is, again, nothing in a van is square. So you really have to build something in the van as square as you possibly can, and then start to use that as a reference. So I need to get a tape measure. Let's see, tape measure. So for example, the floor is my baseline. Get that as flat as I can. Tetra van came up from the floor. Tetra van is square. The sides are nice and true. Top is square. We're bringing this out, it's square. This 80-20, this is not perfect, but it doesn't really matter in my case because of my use case for it. It needs to be perfectly square to anything. This plane is what I'm worried about. This is not that serious. But the van, these part right here, you can kind of reference it and do that. So This one, it's tilting in because that's the way the structure of the van is. But we have to do that because this needs to be flush with this right here, see? And then this 1/2-inch panel goes on top of that. And this 1/2-inch panel is so that we can tie into this 1/4-inch panel. And when we have this reveal of this panel here, everything looks nice. Not only that, we had to adjust this to make up for this so that this contour curve, we can put it in the panel. So I actually had to move this up and move this down because I didn't want this to go round, up, over, and that would look dumb. So now we have a line here that will continue just nice and easy. So, I mean, all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, this bottom piece right here is what we are now referencing. So we're just shy of 8 1/4. So we got 8 and let's see. No, we're closer to 8 1/8. So 8 1/8. So we'll come over here. We'll get this to 8 1/8. This should be really close. All right, so that's 8 1/8. So this is all excellent. So we'll tie in these two first and lock them down. Question, do I use Loctite? I do not. I have used 80/20 so much in vans that I've learned a couple tips and tricks. The stainless steel lock washer that I use actually cuts into this aluminum 90 bracket and it gouges itself. And it's almost so tight that I've almost, when I tried to loosen these, that it's almost sheared the head off of the button head. So I have no worry of these loosening up over time. You know, 10 years down the road, I still think they would be fine. Yeah, because that's important. I keep them loose until I really commit to tighten them. So that way I only tighten it once. And Thomas's van, his whole thing is built completely out of 80/20, and I've checked it a couple times, and we're going on almost 3 years, and that one is doing just fine. And Thomas might be watching this video, and he can even let me know how it's doing. So that is part of the van now. This one, let's go ahead and loosen it. So I dropped my wrench. So we're going to loosen it. Bring it down level to 8 1/8. So if you do what I'm doing, it's possible that when I hit this down, the other side's gonna move. All right, so we got 8 1/8. and it did not move, 8 1/8. So now these are perfectly level to this. And this matters because when we get that face frame panel on, we don't want a crooked bar. We want a straight shower and a straight bar. Now, we're putting a grab bar for the shower, but you could put anything on this 80/20. So if Jim, later down the road, if Jim and Linda want to put some type of accessory behind here, or I have no idea, whatever they want to. What's nice to know is that there's an 80/20 piece behind here, and it can, you know, be bolted into. So this is now part of the frame of the van, 100%. It is tied into it. So I'm going to take this grab bar apart. I'm going to go with the drill press, or maybe I'll just use my hand drill. To get these 5/16 holes drilled. And this is just something I got from Lowe's. I think Allen and Roth, I think that's the name of the company. Okay, so if I pop these open, you can see we've got all these multiple holes. So one thing I want to do is I should be able to loosen this if they've not Loctited it in here. They might have done that. Okay, so I'm going to go and try to loosen this so I can reorient these holes straight, and then that way I can actually take this and do a test fit and just get this bolted into place. Because I need to test fit it so I can find out where I'm going to drill my holes for the panel, and then that way we can put the panel on here. So let me drill this out, and I'll be right back. If you guys got questions, put those in the chat. Hey Linda, welcome. I'm going to drill some holes in your grab bar, but if you're just now tuning in, just finished up the 80/20 frame back here that's going to support the grab bar as well as the shower area. So I made a couple of changes. I talked about that at the beginning of the video, but I'll drill these holes out and then I'll catch you guys back up to speed on what I talked about at the early part of the video. So while I'm out of the van, I'll tell you kind of what I was talking about. So I needed to give you guys a little bit more space in the shower area. Not only that, but relocate the box that provides your power and hooks up the batteries and all that good stuff. So a couple of changes. The changes are for the better because you got more space. There's actually going to be like a mini countertop over there above the fold-out shower, which will be pretty nice. But yeah, I'm going to be off camera for a second. I need to work on this grab bar real quick. Okay, so we definitely used Loctite on this. So just gotta be careful that we don't mess up the unit itself. I think we'll be all right. Okay, so that is nice and straight. Get the other side here. I don't think I need to get on the drill press, but possibly. Don't worry, guys. I'll be back on camera in just a minute. Well, I think we're gonna have to use a different grab bar because we don't have enough. I didn't want to get the one that looked not like a towel rack, but this one. So this is not, the diameter is not big enough for the bolt head to fit in there. So, okay, I'll just temporarily put it in there. This one's not going to fit, but that way it give you guys an idea of what it looks like. See if there's a way I can modify this. All right, I do have another 24-inch one in the shop. Let's see if we can get this one to fit. Okay, this one is probably going to fit. I can get it out of here. Oh, nice, he got on the phone. Let's see here. I need to drill some more holes and I'll be back on camera. While you guys are watching, let's see what you guys can see here. Let me go back to my computer. I'll give you an update before I drill that bar out. All right, so at the beginning of the video, I'm just kind of redoing, kind of recapping at the start. But down here, we've got the batteries on the bottom left. So those got moved. The heater is coming out. The tube is at the bottom left. The batteries got reorientated so that the power button can be located to be accessed behind a removable panel on the bottom. But because those got relocated, we shifted the fridge to the left, so now that's flush with the kitchen galley. So it's a nice clean reveal on both sides. So there's not, one is not awkwardly further in the van and then one's not closer to the passenger and driver's seat, if that makes sense. So what that did was change the position of the inverter charger, the big box unit that you see there. So that box, it can be oriented that way, so that's safe. So we'll have some louvers neatly placed so that the air can come in, cool that unit. But that unit needs to be placed right there because the battery cable power is not that, those cables are not that long, and you can't get longer ones. So that's where its new home is. There'll be an access panel on the front, and then on the top of there, you'll be able to plug and unplug anything, as well as remove that entirely in case you need to. So the new thing is, if you notice, let me move up here, and I'll hop back up in the van. But we've got this little like mini countertop, and we already kind of had that plan for this left side right here. So originally, the fridge stack was going to be here, but by shifting it back even with the kitchen galley, we got this space opened up for this unit, so that worked out great. But I didn't want to have all this dead space here, and then as I've been kind of in the shower filling out what you guys are going to feel like in here, it felt a little cramped on this left side. So this space that wasn't used is just now opened up. This will be where the flat screen goes. We'll have our second RV monitor mount right here. And so that'll go right there. We've got a 32-inch flat screen in the back. This one is actually going to go down to a 27-inch so that it fits in this spot. But this extends a little over a foot. So this whole thing, as you can see, extends, as well as angles down for the driver's seat, so if you're using the computer. But the coolest part is that this right here is now going to be, I don't know if you can visualize that. Let me get another block of wood. But this is now going to be like this. So this is going to kind of come out like that. And so you're going to have like this countertop area, so you got more elbow room when you're taking a shower. You've got a place to set some things. We've got the grab bar right here. And yeah, so it was kind of challenging to try to get all this stuff looks wild because I want the final reveal to be nice and clean. I want the top to transition to the bottom. I want this panel and this to have a nice clean curve. I adjusted this and I adjusted this so that instead of having this big kind of janky up and down, we're gonna have this nice panel that comes here. Originally we were gonna upholster this panel. This bigger panel I'm going to paint the same as this face panel here, the one that goes in the fridge, the back of the fridge, the one that's at the back of the dinette. So this is going to be white. It's with a ScuffX paint, which is super durable, but it's because I just want to make sure that we kind of control the humidity over here. This is plastic, fabric covered, but this panel, I think it's just better insurance for us to have this to be more sealed for the shower area when you guys are using it. We're going to reroute the power back there. I'm probably going to do that off camera late tonight. But really, this is going to be super nice. And I just happen to have a piece of 3/4 inch bamboo that will just fit this area. So you'll have your kitchen galley bamboo top. And then I purposely raised this. This was actually lower. And so I raised this to this so that the final reveal height is exactly the same as the kitchen galley. So whenever you guys walk in, or friends and family, when they come see this van, the kitchen galley and then this countertop is all gonna be the same height. So it'll just flow really, really nice. So yeah, a couple of changes, but I think this is just gonna look excellent. This is what it's going to look like. Well, actually, it'll be a little bit more tighter. How about that right there? Then the access panel will be here. So other good news that I was mentioning at the beginning of the video is I've got a new hire in the shop, and he has worked at a van conversion company out west, and so he's got got family here in North Carolina, and he's been working with me the last 2 weeks, doing an excellent job. Really helped me just dial in, all the woodwork. So we've got more hands-on, but at the same time, skilled hands, and I'm really excited about it. All right, without further ado, let's get the other grab bar on here, because I have enough room with that one to get the holes, actually, enough space to get the bolts in. So it is the regular, what am I trying to say? It's the regular grab bar. Traditional might be another good word to use. All right, let me grab that bar, and then I don't think I'll have to drill to get those holes to fit. Okay, we'll just have to widen up these holes just a little bit. Yeah, the extra countertop space. What I'm excited about is what it's going to look like. More bamboo over here, and the white. It's going to look so good. All right, let's get some washers. This is not the final install of this grab bar. This is just so I can get the measurements so we can. Get the board ripped over here on the table saw. All right, here we go. So actually for this bar, this one's shorter So instead of going wide, and you can tell me on the chat. We're very flexible as far as where this is located. But I think center to the Tetra van shower is where this would look the best. So you guys can see, for you DIYers out there, I know 80/20 is a little on the high side, but it just allows you to in a very strong way both dial in and kind of help get your van build where you want it. Let's see here. The flange on this is, I need the other screws. The flange is very thin. So we're going to go back to the half-inch bolts. Okay, there we go. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, so we'll locate, mark this, and then once the board goes in and we hole saw it, then we'll get our final location for this. So right here. Now this is not perfectly center. So what is centered is this handle right here. So we've got this guy, and again, this is not the final position. We're just seeing where we want to put this. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we've got 23 1/4, and this bar is 21 inches. So do 23 1/4, 21. So we got an inch and an eighth. So we need to come off this about 2 inches. So that's an optical illusion. So about an inch and an eighth over here. 12 1/2, 6 1/4, right there. Sorry about that. I'm sure the microphone sounds crazy. And so I'll get this on drill press. This has only got 2 bolts in it, but it's already extremely strong. Then, yeah, this is right here. You know, you guys can put a towel on it. Give me a towel rack. You can get these ram mount clamps. You can clamp stuff on here. You know, Jim, when you're sitting down, if you wanted to put some gadgets here, you know, it's a bar. You can clamp whatever you want to on it. Cool. So that is that. We'll get this over here. Let's see what the next thing we want to do was. Let's see, what does that look like on camera? So this one is, they make a 24 inch. This is 21 inches. I think I like it. It's low pro. If you guys are in here, you can, yeah, you can definitely grab it through the curtain. There, I would say there's no question about that. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. All right. Next, we had some more pieces of this Baltic birch. I'll get you guys like a visual, kind of the this extended space here. I'll give you some measurements. That'll probably do. So believe it or not, we'll be able to have almost 6 inches of countertop space over here. And then back here we'll have 7.5. So we got 7.5, 6.5. And the width on this side is almost 21 inches. And this width over here is going to be 3 feet. So 36.25 inches. So 36.25 by 21. Yeah, so as you guys can see, this, I have this panel back here in the back. All right, what was the next thing I wanted to knock out? So I'm getting ready to pick up that monitor tomorrow. So let's get a plan for the RV TV mount. So I've already mapped out where this is going to go. Let me get my square. So also, Jim, the the top of this cabinet, let me see if I can move the camera. The top of the cabinet, well, not yet. The top of the microwave, the height of this is perfect so that you can store the coffee maker up there. So, believe it or not, the whole fridge stack has been designed around the coffee maker. And I mean, the battery height to the fridge height, the clearance between the fridge and the microwave and the battery pack. I had just 3/4 of an inch to play with so that everything worked out. And it worked out perfect, so I was happy. I was getting to the top of the fridge stack and I was wondering if the coffee maker was going to fit, and it fit. So that was good. Yeah, let's get some 1/2-inch temporary screws and line this up over here. All right, for the RV mount, we got about 10 inches and 10 inches for the center. We're coming up 14.25. Let's see if I can get this with one hand hold. Now, I will be having an additional support bracket in here. This is so that tomorrow when I get the monitor, I can play around with the functionality. Because even though I measure this and it's perfect, real life sometimes is different. All right, don't do what I do and use drills as hammers. Okay. So that is theoretically where we're going with the monitor. We should have 28 inches. So we should have 10. Yeah, it's a little high. I forget on these mounts, this is our final, the bracket is not in relationship to the monitor. So we gotta change that. So we'll lock this in and then we'll mark this. All right, so for the DIYers, if you have one of these mounts, these RV mounts, that mounts to your TV, this is called a VESA mount. The outer ones, you're gonna typically be 100 by 100, so it's 100 millimeters by 100 millimeters. A typical computer monitor will always fit that. TVs sometimes are different, but typically will have that same mount depending on the size that you get. So if you're looking at me, this right here is where I've measured my halfway point between the top of my fridge stack and the top of my, so not this wood, but the top of my countertop. So that's that center. And then secondly, right here, this mark is my other reference mark. So what I need to do now is we want the release mechanism to be on the bottom, so this is not dangling on the top. So, Jim and Linda, you can cut this off, you can make it smaller, shorter, but this is so that you don't want to have it too short to where you can't unlatch it. I personally would just leave it like this. Maybe you put like some felt here or something like that. But this is what locks the monitor, so that if you hit the brakes or whatever, your TVs aren't moving around in the van. So you definitely want to get a lock-in version of this. I see a lot of DIYers just buy a normal wall mount. But I would get the locking one so that it doesn't come flying around your van when you're driving. So if we follow this, we have our center line here. So that is very on the edge. So I will definitely need to, I knew I needed to add in the support. I'm just wanting to see where I would like the final support to go. Okay. And then what I'll do is when I take the microwave out, I can bolt this in. I mean, really, if this is screwed in, Craig screwed, this is going to be plenty strong to get this. There will be no issue of strength. Yeah, so we'll do 6. We can do 6. 6 pieces to mount this. Okay. So just for video purposes, we'll just mount this temporarily. It's gonna be right on the edge. Okay, so this is where this is going to live. Again, Jim, what I was saying for the driver's seat, there is there's not a this does not have rotation on it. You can buy a rotation adapter mount. They're very expensive, but I don't think you're going to need that because the plan was to kind of keep this vertical. But this will extend the monitor towards your driver's seat. We'll be coming out 14 inches. So the arm, so I'll sit down here in the seat. I'll change the camera angle. We'll go over ergonomics just a little bit. Okay, so there's the TV mount. We'll come down. Will my camera go down more? There we go. So we got the chair all the way back, and so let's see what my phone says. What's the video look like? All right, so we're in the seat. We're going to have the Lagoon mount. Believe it or not, this will be mounted actually to the passenger seat with an offset. So you will not have to rotate the passenger seat in order to put the Lagoon mount in. You can put it in at any time as long as the seat is facing directly forward or directly back. So if you're by yourself working on the road, seat's facing forward, you can mount this. The mount will be there, but the pole, you'll just put the pole there, and that's going to allow you to take the table and push it out of your way, go to the back of the van, and then bring the table in. Because the original plan was to have it over here, but there's no way for your table arm. It would make it just extremely difficult to get out of the seat. And so we're moving the arm over here to the passenger seat. All right, so got that table, got your table here. The cool thing is you can do the table long ways, or you can do it width ways. So the width is why I needed to move it to the passenger, so you can have that width. So you can have your mouse and keyboard. So here's my arms extended out. So my arm is, if I extend it all the way out, I know this is terrible video here, but I'm measuring distance. I'm not doing anything else. It's 11 inches. So the monitor can also tilt down. So the monitor can tilt. And so the monitor is going to be probably right. So if this is my palm, the furthest the monitor will be away from my palm is 12 inches. So I think that's going to work for you. I guess so a question that I have was, if you guys are still tuning in, visually, this is going to make everything look nice and pretty over here as far as this being centered. I think, Jim, if you have your monitor and you can lean it down, you'll still be able to see it just as well. However, if you do want it a bit lower, let's see. If you do want a bit lower, we'll have to. We can't go too low because it's going to hit the countertop. So I think what I'll do is make it a design decision on my own to make sure that it looks appropriate when it's closed in and it's not too low to the. I want it to be center at the top to bottom, and center left to right. I think you may agree with that. because we would only be able to bring the monitor down maybe an inch or two, and I don't think it's going to even make a difference from where it's at. So if this is, again, this is my hand touching the monitor, the distance from my hand is 11 inches, so that's not that far away. And then again, if you need to tilt it, you can probably get it 3 more inches or 4 more inches down. So you'll have this nice setup here. And then, so if I'm pointing at the monitor, I know some people might think this is silly, but this is, it's ergonomics, guys. You want the van to feel comfortable. So 9 inches. There you go. So it's you're only 9 inches away. Let's see here. Oh man, that would be funny. I'm gonna write some notes here really quick. Okay, so grab bar, check, monitor check. So now we can put this rear panel on, hole saw these holes out. Same with routing out the panel side of the fridge. You do have a waterproof cover. It's a nice Velcro waterproof cover for the monitor itself, so that whenever you are in the shower, you don't have to worry about getting the TV wet. We'll have this panel here enclosed and insulated behind there. This whole wall will be, again, packed with insulation. Back behind the fridge and the microwave, we'll just have one piece of 1.5" 3M thin slit, so we can still have some nice airflow back there. And yeah, so we've got, so Mark's coming in tomorrow. He's the one that is assisting me in building in the shop right now, which is really exciting. And so he's going to help me with, we're going to finish out these face frame panels and get everything dialed in for the next 2 days. And so the framing will be complete. May actually be complete tomorrow. And then we'll work on get the face frame is the exciting part, because once that's all cut out, the next step is painting, and then those panels, they go right on top of this. So that's really exciting. And then the next steps would be to come here to the front of the van and get this strobe light wiring fed through the dash. It's already taken apart and it's ready to go. It just hasn't been fed through. And finally, this Friday, we got the bumper. The bumper came in finally. It has taken forever for it to come in. It's finally came in. It's in a box right over here. So we can take off the front bumper, get that mounted, and get the lights going, and keep on trucking. But let's see, what time is it? I think this is a shower cap for the monitor. That's what it is. It also fits the rear TV too. It's a little big for the. It's perfect for a 32-inch. It's a little big for a 27, but they only make it in 27 to 32, and then 27 to 19. But this is what it is. It's called Porch Shield. It's actually made for outdoor TVs that are on porches and patios. So this is the bag. The bag has a middle section that Velcro's open. So you'll just undo that Velcro. You'll take the monitor, snap it into place, and then this bag will just come right across there. So the bag is approximately probably 2 inches, 2.5 inches. Height-wise, maybe too big, but the width-wise is really nice. But this will actually, I'll just play around with it here. So go over your wires, and then you just take the Velcro it together, and then you just wrap it around the back. Just like that. Just hold it there. There you go. Yeah, so that'll give you a little, here, I'll zoom out. So this will, now obviously if there's a TV, it's going to fit better around it, but essentially that's what it does. This is some waterproof cover for the TV. And so you may have missed it. We were going to do two of the same monitors, so the same that it's in the back. So the back one is a 32 inch, and it's a smart TV with remote control. You can have, you know, Netflix, YouTube, all that stuff. The one behind the driver's seat, that one is going to be a Dell monitor, 27 inch, with built-in USB-C display port, so it can directly connect to your Inspiron Thunderbolt 4 port. And it also has a built-in KVM switch. So the KVM is our backup in case you wanted to directly connect your keyboard and mouse to the monitor. So on the right-hand side, which would be the bottom typically of the monitor, you're going to have multiple ports for connecting everything. And then I did a pretty cool feature. I routed a cable from the back of the van TV to the front. So if you wanted to display something on the TV in the back, there is that capability. So that's that. So next step is just getting that panel cut to size and putting that over the top, cutting the bamboo countertop, and then face frame for the Tetra van. And we should be good for this portion of the van. Yeah, so actually, I'm gonna get my phone so I can see if you guys have any questions. All right, so here we are. We're back to the face cam. This is the bumper for the front. So it finally came in. So we'll get that unboxed and get that put on. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for the live stream tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining. Jim and Linda, thank you guys for watching as well. Feel free to put any questions you guys have in the chat. If you guys that are watching tonight, get subscribed. Share the video to anybody who's working on their van and might want to do a setup like this. So kind of hybrid of wood and 80/20. 80/20 is really there, you know, for safety. It's, you really want to, I can't harp anymore on really trying to tie wood structures that you build in the van into the 80/20. You don't have to do the whole van in 80/20, but you know, use rib nuts, get that structure built into there would be my advice. Yeah, that's gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna head out of here and get ready for tomorrow. Mark's coming over right at 9 o'clock and we're gonna get back on the van, keep on trucking. So, yep, we're getting this thing done. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Get subscribed. Don't forget to check out Van Builder HQ. I've got two things on there. We've got the free DIY van build cheat sheet. So let me pull that up real quick. So if you go to vanbuilderhq.com, we've got two things. So we've got a DIY van build cheat sheet that you guys can download, help you with parts. It's basically Amazon's parts list that I use all the time for van building. But if you want to step further, I'd love for you guys to check out my van building course. It's only $50, and it goes over all the details you need to do to get started with your van build, choosing your van, designing layout, power systems, freshwater, gray storage tank, exterior upgrades, stuff like that. And all you gotta do is go here, click on Access, and you can pick it up. So helps out the channel, and it's gonna give you guys some amazing information. There's a special video in there that's not available anywhere else, and I walk you through a real life used van purchase. So there was a couple that I built a van for. So it wasn't this one, obviously, it was a different van, but they were looking to buy a van. They found one, and I said, hey, before we use this as a platform to upgrade, why don't I go out there and check the van out, make sure nothing's like scary about it or whatever. Went out there, the van actually looked pretty good. They wanted to upgrade the kitchen galley and some stuff like that, but I looked under the van, it was completely rusted out. And so looks can be deceiving, the paint was great, but underneath the van it was just complete rust, and I told them to pass, but I'll take you guys through that, through the video. That is solely with this course, so check that out. And yeah, those two things, and we will, I'm hoping to do an update video Tuesday. I'm not sure. Tomorrow I'm going to be really working on this again, so we might do one tomorrow late night. Not sure. Anyway, Jim and Linda, thank you guys for tuning in tonight and your feedback, and really appreciate you guys and checking out the channel, and the back and forth with the info and the chat really helps out. Other than that, if you guys are new to the channel, get subscribed, and that is going to call it for this evening. And we'll see you guys in the next video.